The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, warned of high pollution in East Asia and the Pacific regions. According to the agency, some 500 million children in these regions live amid unhealthy levels of air pollution that can fuel chronic diseases such as diabetes and cardiovascular pathologies. In addition, the agency stated that 373 million children live in places with unhealthy levels of nitrogen dioxide, a gas produced by vehicles, factories and power plants, which aggravates asthma and other respiratory affections. Moreover, other consequences include brain development difficulties and the risk of school closures, which can severely affect the children's education. In Brazil, authorities reported that at least 7 people died in the city of Recife, capital of the state of Pernambuco, after heavy rainfall. In this regard, the National Meteorological Institute and Pernambuco's Water and Climate Agency renewed on Thursday rainfall warnings for Recife and other regions of the state. However, until 6 a.m. local time, the capital of Pernambuco had an accumulated average of 131.4 millimeters of rain in the first 24 hours of rainfall. According to weather forecasters, this figure surpassed the 91.4 millimeters predicted for the whole month of February in the region. Gazans are overwhelmed by seeing their towns razed by Israeli occupation forces. Our collaborator Huda Hegazi provides us more details.
Me he trasladado a la zona de Al-Shijaia, al este de la ciudad de Gaza, al norte de la franja.
I've been moved to the Al-Shijaia area, eastern part of Gaza City, north of the Strip. This area, which was invaded and razed by the Israeli occupation forces, as we can notice behind my back, all the area has been fully destroyed by the Israeli occupation airstrikes and military tanks. We have to say that this area has been attacked several times by the Israeli army, so each invasion led to huge destruction, so each aggression left the area fully inhospitable. And we can notice houses, markets, everything has been shattered to pieces, ruined, so the only thing we can see are mountains of rubble and ruins. We must note that the area was residential, full of markets, a very lively neighborhood, and you can see a deadly area instead, as there aren't any houses, nor water or power supply, and people don't know where to go. Despite this, after the proclamation of the humanitarian truce, people have started to return to these places, but most people have been surprised, overwhelmed by seeing all this devastation they had found. However, as we can see, the resistance of the Gazan people made possible that this area, which is literally inhospitable, turn into a lively and vital place again. We are starting to see tents with markets, and even we can see people who started pitching their tents to start residing in what were once their homes, which were shattered to pieces, ruins. So they have pitched their tents on top of the ruins.
The bloodshed has stopped, but now there is another, stronger suffering. When we came here, we were overwhelmed by the destruction, by the victims under the rubble. We don't know where to go. We don't know what to do. We don't know how to get food, water, or anything. We came here and we had to pitch this tent to have a roof over our heads.
As we have heard, when people returned to this area, they were overwhelmed by the huge destruction they had found. Many Gazans have lost their houses, their businesses, they have lost all their properties. Literally, people are devastated. They don't know what to do, where to go to, where to ask for help. We had spoken about the bloodshed, the genocidal war, killings and bombings have raised with the whole Gaza Strip. But the difficult humanitarian situation of Gazans will remain for a long time. Mostly Gazans will live in tents for a long time. People do not know what to do, where to ask for help, but what we can see is that people are broken, overwhelmed by this genocidal war waged by the Israeli occupation forces for over 15 concurrent months in the Gaza Strip. So the only thing Gazans wish for right now is at least to recover their houses and recover a place where they can shelter, They try to forget all suffering they had gone through during all this time.
todo el sufrimiento que han vivido durante todo este tiempo.
The Fifth Congress of the United Socialist Party of Venezuela, PSUV, ended Thursday after an intense agenda of debates on the upcoming April 27th elections. For 3 days, the political organization established the methods for the selection of candidates to participate in the regional and legislative elections. More than 21,620,000 citizens are called to elect governors, deputies, the National Assembly, and the regional legislative councils. Vice President of the PSUV for Communal Councils and Communes, Jorge Arriaza, highlighted the importance of respecting the popular will expressed through the vote.
Por eso, el presidente Maduro insiste en este momento en el cual hemos logrado.
That is why President Maduro insists at this moment in which we have managed to stabilize the ship after all the storms or the worst of the storm, because the storm continues, that power must be handed over to the people, that we must guarantee the organization of the people in the territory so that the people can plan, execute, evaluate, and be the master of its own destiny. As Commander Hugo Chavez used to say during the discussion of the 2007 reform. I remember, in some way, he used to tell us we, the president, the ministers, the governors, the mayors who are your servants are like your contractors. We shall do what you tell us to do.
The Vice President of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, reiterated the importance of the United Socialist Party of Venezuela as the political arm of Venezuelan society.
Sabemos que como partido somos una poderosa maquinaria electoral, pero la historia nos exige estar incluso.
We know that, as a party, we are a powerful electoral machinery, but history demands us to be even beyond being a powerful electoral machinery. This party must be the political arm of the Venezuelan society. We must be in every space, in every territory, in every social sector. Let us be there with our proposals, which is a historical proposal, it is not a daydreamed proposal. Commander Hugo Chavez said it, I am going to quote him. He said on July 11, 2012, he proposed to continue building the socialist system of the 21st century in Venezuela. Chavez told us what the program is, democratic, profoundly democratic, transferring more power to the people, socialism in morals, in love, socialism in politics and in economics.
The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, warned of high pollution in East Asia and the Pacific regions. According to the agency, some 500 million children in these regions live amid unhealthy levels of air pollution that can fuel chronic diseases such as diabetes and cardiovascular pathologies. In addition, the agency stated that 373 million children live in places with unhealthy levels of nitrogen dioxide, a gas produced by vehicles, factories and power plants, which aggravates asthma and other respiratory affections. Moreover, other consequences include brain development difficulties and the risk of school closures, which can severely affect the children's education. In Brazil, authorities reported that at least 7 people died in the city of Recife, capital of the state of Pernambuco, after heavy rainfall. In this regard, the National Meteorological Institute and Pernambuco's Water and Climate Agency renewed on Thursday rainfall warnings for Recife and other regions of the state. However, until 6 a.m. local time, the capital of Pernambuco had an accumulated average of 131.4 millimeters of rain in the first 24 hours of rainfall. According to weather forecasters, this figure surpassed the